There comes a moment in every human life when the noise fades just enough for truth to speak. Not the truth society repeats, not the truth comfort whispers, the deeper truth, the one that asks a dangerous question. How badly do you want the life you dream about? Because wanting is easy. Everyone wants success, everyone wants freedom, everyone wants wealth, respect, purpose, meaning. But wanting changes nothing. Wishes build no empires. Hope alone has never rewritten destiny. The world does not belong to the merely interested. It belongs to the obsessed. Obsession is misunderstood. People hear the word and think imbalance, madness, sacrifice too great to bear. Yet every breakthrough in human history was born from a mind that refused to let go. Thomas Edison did not invent light because he tried once. He tested thousands of failures while the world laughed. He slept beside experiments, lived inside questions, and treated possibility like oxygen. What others called failure, he called progress. That is obsession. Not chaos, not desperation, direction. The difference between ordinary people and extraordinary creators is not intelligence, not luck, not background. It is the willingness to hold a vision so tightly that reality eventually bends toward it. Most people stop when motivation fades. Winners continue when emotion disappears. They do not rely on feeling inspired. They rely on commitment stronger than comfort. You see, the mind is a garden constantly being planted. Every thought repeated becomes belief. Every belief repeated becomes identity, and identity determines action. If you believe success is distant, your actions hesitate. If you believe greatness belongs to others, you shrink yourself without realizing it. But when belief turns into obsession, hesitation dies. Obsession rewires perception. Suddenly, opportunities appear where others see obstacles. Energy emerges where others feel exhaustion. Time stretches because purpose fuels endurance. This is why history remembers builders, not spectators. Henry Ford was told automobiles were impractical. Experts insisted failure was inevitable. Yet Ford saw not machines, but transformation. Mobility, independence, a future reshaped by belief. He repeated one thought endlessly: it can be done. And eventually, reality agreed. The truth is uncomfortable. Success is rarely balanced in its early stages. Greatness demands intensity long before it delivers rewards. While others sleep through opportunity, the obsessed stay awake, refining skills, sharpening vision, strengthening discipline. Because obsession is not about working endlessly, it is about caring deeply enough that quitting becomes impossible. The average mind negotiates with difficulty. The obsessed mind makes decisions once and never revisits them. That is why winners never stop. They understand something most people never learn. Persistence is not a behavior, it is a state of identity. You do not chase success, you become the person incapable of abandoning it. And that transformation begins with clarity. Most people drift through life reacting. They follow expectations inherited from family, culture, fear, and comparison. They chase approval instead of purpose. They run races they never chose. But obsession begins the moment you decide what you truly want. Not what impresses others, not what feels safe, but what ignites something uncontrollable within you. Clarity is dangerous because once you see your true desire, mediocrity becomes unbearable. You can no longer pretend comfort satisfies you. You start noticing wasted hours, conversations without meaning, goals too small for your potential. The ordinary world begins to feel like a cage built from compromise. And that discomfort is sacred. It is the awakening. Walt Disney was rejected repeatedly. Banks refused him. Studios dismissed him. At one point, he was told he lacked imagination. Yet he carried a vision so vivid that failure became temporary noise. He did not simply want success, he was possessed by possibility. Obsession transforms imagination into inevitability. It forces you to see your future not as fantasy, but as responsibility. Because once a vision lives inside you, ignoring it becomes betrayal. The world often advises moderation. Be realistic, be careful, lower expectations to avoid disappointment. But realism has never built greatness. Every revolutionary idea looked unrealistic before it changed the world. The obsessed are not reckless dreamers, they are disciplined believers. They wake up before evidence exists, they work before recognition arrives, they improve before applause begins. And slowly, almost invisibly, momentum forms. Momentum is not created by sudden breakthroughs. It is born from daily decisions repeated long after excitement fades. Discipline becomes devotion. You begin to understand that success is less about talent and more about endurance, the ability to continue when results are invisible, the courage to invest effort into a future only you can see. This is where most people surrender. They work until doubt appears. They try until criticism arrives. They push until failure hurts. Then they stop. But winners interpret pain differently. To them, resistance is confirmation they are moving forward. Difficulty becomes evidence of growth. Setbacks become instruction rather than defeat. Abraham Lincoln lost elections, faced ridicule, endured personal tragedy, and still continued pursuing purpose. His greatness was not born from uninterrupted success, but from relentless continuation. He refused to quit on the vision of a nation stronger than its struggles. And that same principle governs personal transformation. You are not defeated when you fail. You are defeated when you abandon obsession. Because obsession trains resilience. It teaches patience in a culture addicted to speed. It replaces comparison with focus. It transforms time from enemy into ally. When you become obsessed with growth, every experience becomes useful. Every mistake carries instruction. Every obstacle sharpens character. You stop asking, "Is this working?" You start declaring, "I will make this work." And that shift changes everything.
The mind begins searching for solutions instead of excuses. Creativity expands. Confidence strengthens. Fear loses authority because purpose becomes louder. Obsession aligns thought, emotion, and action into a single direction. Energy stops leaking into distraction. You no longer chase motivation videos, external validation, or temporary inspiration. You build internal fire, the kind that burns quietly but endlessly. And in that fire, transformation begins. Because winners never stop, not because they're stronger than everyone else, but because stopping is no longer an option their identity recognizes. They have crossed a psychological line. They are no longer trying to succeed. They have decided they must. And once that decision is made, life itself begins reorganizing around commitment. You notice new ideas arriving unexpectedly, new connections forming naturally, new confidence emerging from consistent action. The world responds differently to those who move with certainty. Opportunity favors the obsessed because obsession creates preparation. Luck, as people call it, is often the moment preparation meets persistence. And persistence belongs to those who refuse to surrender their vision to temporary discomfort. There will be nights when doubt whispers louder than belief, days when progress feels invisible, moments when quitting appears logical. But obsession answers with a simple truth: continue. Not because it is easy, not because success is guaranteed tomorrow, but because the person you are becoming is forged only through continuation. And as days turn into months, something extraordinary happens. You change. Your standards rise, your confidence stabilizes, your discipline strengthens. The person who once hesitated disappears. You begin to trust yourself, and self-trust is the foundation of unstoppable momentum. The world begins to see results, but the real victory happened long before, the moment you chose obsession over comfort. Because obsession is not about achieving one goal. It is about becoming the kind of human being who never abandons growth, purpose, or vision. The journey reshapes you until success is no longer something you chase. It becomes something you embody.